Okay, so I have like a bit of a preface introduction for this video, which is going to be some films that I would like to see in the Criterion collection or that I would like to see Criterion release. So I first saw this on Luke's channel. His channel is Razor Wire Reviews. He did this video and said he saw it on Daisuke Beppu's channel, and I didn't know who that was, and so I decided to check out his channel, and he also talks about movies and does videos about Criterions, which basically, if anyone talks about Criterions, I'm like, okay, yes, I'm here for this. So I subscribed to his channel, and I watched videos of his, and I left comments on his videos, and like 50% of the times, if I'm leaving a comment, I'll leave like a really long comment, and it'll be ridiculous. And then the other 50% of the time, it'll just be like a couple of sentences or something like that, which the comments I left on his channel happen to be really long, but he's okay with that, which I very much appreciate. And I could get into a whole discussion really about the way I write my comments. But anyway, he took notice of this, and we've been having discussions on his videos and on my videos because he subscribed to me and commented on some of my videos. And then he mentioned that he might shout me out, and he asked for my permission, and I said, yeah, you just, like, you can say whatever, obviously, but you might want to mention that I don't just talk about film. And then I was checking my email one night. I was going to do it really quickly before I went to bed. And then because I get like notifications for certain people that I'm subscribed to, because the subscriptions are like dumb sometimes when you go on YouTube and you go to your subscriptions, like things don't show up sometimes. Does anyone else have that problem? Yeah, so I was checking my email, and then I got a notification, and then like my name was in the title of his video and in the thumbnail of his video. So this is kind of me like also shouting him out and thanking him for mentioning me, and like just like so many nice things that he was saying too. And I was just like, I was so overjoyed, and it was very nice. And now we're literally just having like a compliment war and like a thank you war. Yeah, so Daisuke Beppu, and I'll like link his channel in the description, and the video where he shouted me out, I'll leave that in the description and like in the card thing there. Yeah. And so his channel, he's been doing some videos though that has inspired other YouTubers who talk about film to kind of do their own version of that or do a video response to that. And so this is one of them, films that people would like to see on Criterion. So that was my whole like introduction to this. So I have a list here. Oh yeah, I also wrote a note on the back because I don't know that much about the way that Criterion acquires rights, and yeah, that's something that I just have to look more into. The films I'm going to mention, I don't know like who has the rights to them. I just don't really know that much about how it works, and I don't know how easy or difficult it may be for Criterion to get these rights if they were interested in releasing these, which there's like a few here that are very likely because these are directors that are already in the collection. Okay, so first I have Coffee and Cigarettes from 2003, directed by Jim Jarmusch, and this is one of his like vignette films. So I haven't actually seen Mystery Train, but I'm pretty sure this is similar to it, as well as Night on Earth, which I have. And so all of these films have like some connecting element. And with Coffee and Cigarettes, it's different scenarios of people having coffee and smoking cigarettes. And it's been a while since I've seen this, but I just thought it would go well in the collection. And even though it's been a while, I still think I prefer it to Night on Earth. And I haven't seen Mystery Train, so I can't say much on that. And nothing really happens in the film, so I also can't say much else about it. I would like to see it in the collection. Also, at one point when I was in high school, and somehow it came up, and then I remembered that I had watched that in middle school with my older brother, and I tried to get it, and at that point, I think there's now a Blu-ray release of it, but at that point, there wasn't, and it was only available on DVD, and it was on Amazon for like $30, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend $30 on a DVD, unless it's Criterion. And so then the second one I have listed here is A Place in the Sun from 1951, directed by George Stevens. And this is one of those classic Hollywood films that like really stands out to me. I think there was a time when I was just trying to watch as many classic films as possible, and a lot of them are in black and white, and a lot of it was just like mixing in my head. It's hard for me to differentiate between some of them, and this one, because of the plot, because of what happens, it just stands out so much, and I just remember loving it, and I definitely need to rewatch it. One stars Montgomery Clift, Elizabeth Taylor, and Shelley Winters, and I don't remember any of their character names, but Montgomery Clift plays this guy who wants to basically just have a successful life, be able to live, like that's relatable, and make enough money to have a house and like support a wife that he wants to have, obviously, and have a good job. And so he starts to acquire these things. He goes out with Shelley Winters' character, and then they get married. He gets a job, and then he starts to become, he's really hardworking, and he starts to become successful within the company, and it shows, and he ends up meeting, like, the boss, and becoming closer to the boss, and then meeting, like, the boss's daughter, and then he recognizes, he sees this life that his boss has, and starts to like his boss's daughter, who is Elizabeth Taylor, and wants to be a rich and successful man and powerful man, I guess. And he's willing to do a lot for that. And I'll leave it at that. So then the third film I have here on this list is Blue Velvet from 1986, directed by David Lynch. And I feel like with David Lynch being in the collection now, having Eraserhead and Mulholland Drive and Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Twin Peaks is my favorite show, if you did not know that. I feel like we can expect more David Lynch. I wrote this one down and Elephant Man because I would like to see both, and they're also two movies that I don't already own. Like, I already have Wild at Heart, so that's not one that I would necessarily, like, want to see first. I also wrote down Elephant Man because recently I watched The Graduate, again, for like the 20th time, and Anne Bancroft is in that, and then whenever I watch The Graduate, I feel like the more I watch it, the more I just become like, I just admire her as an actress, and she's also in The Elephant Man, so it's been a while since I've seen that, and I would like to see more things that she's in now that I've seen like one of her most iconic roles. Blue Velvet. I mean, this is a more Lynchian film. It blends that line between, like, the super mundane and almost, like, artificial and this surrealist approach that he has to, like, digging deeper, like, beneath the surface. And I'm just, like, picturing that ear in the grass with all the ants on it. I really hate ants. So, Blue Velvet, though, it stars Kyle MacLachlan, who is Special Agent Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks, because apparently I have to keep mentioning Twin Peaks. And he just, he kind of finds his way into this group of not-so-great people. That's, like, the most generic way I could have explained what Blue Velvet is about. But that's what it's about. So, I'm just going to move on to the next thing I have written down, which I actually started off with Le Petit Soldat, which is a 1963 film, but technically it was made in 1960 and not released until 1963. And this is directed by Jean-Luc Godard, and this is his first film with Anna Karina, which is why I wrote it down initially. I just think it's like really significant to have the first film, their like first collaboration together, like in the collection, especially because there's so many other French New Wave films and other Godard films in the collection that are just also just significant in film. And I think that Anna Karina is also synonymous with the French New Wave, as she's in a lot of his major, Godard's major, sort of what I would consider like top tier films. I think of like Pierre Le Fou and Breathless and Band of Outsiders and like Masculine Feminine and A Woman is a Woman, Vive sa vie. I think of those as like the top tier ones, and then the second tier ones kind of they're still really good, but less talked about. Here maybe Le Chinoise, which I also wrote down, but like I can't remember that much about specifically, so I just thought I would mention it there. There's one more Alphaville, which I feel like gets kind of forgotten, but maybe that's because it's like out of print from Criterion and hard to come across for a US release at least. Yeah, and then like the third tier would be like Le Gai Savoir, which I like never want to watch again, and just like his two political films that personally just it goes way over my head and I just like don't care. Yeah. And I think Le Petit Soldat I would consider to be in like the top tier. It's still kind of like subjective, I guess, if you want to use this like tier system for Jean-Luc Godard films. But I think it's significant enough in the way that just like you can tell that Jean-Luc Godard just wanted to film Anna Karenina and just capture her. There's so many moments that are also noticeable in Band of Outsiders, I think, that it's just like her on screen and it's just him admiring her. Yeah. So I think that it deserves to be on Criterion, or should have a Criterion release. But then I remembered that Une Femme Mariée isn't on the collection. I think it's Eureka. I think there's a Eureka. I think there is a Eureka. Oh my god, I can't say it. I think there is a Eureka release of this, but I think it's like a limited one. I'm not exactly sure. But I rented this and I loved it. And I keep forgetting about it, even though I would consider it one of my favorite Godard films. I just keep forgetting about it because I don't have it. And it's only one that I've seen like a couple times. Yeah, so I want this one to be in the collection so that I can get it and have it and watch it as many times as I want. This is Une Femme Mariée, by the way, translates to A Married Woman. So that's the English title. And this is about a woman who has an affair. And then the last one, which technically I wrote down too. So Lost in Translation from 2003, directed by Sofia Coppola. Oh my god, my poster's falling. This is one that I think like a lot of people can agree on, especially after seeing The Virgin Suicides get released on Criterion. A lot of people are hoping that this is in the works somehow. Sometime it'll come out, hopefully. I've only seen this. I think I've seen this twice, and I really like it, but it seems to be a very, very loved film, and I think I just want to see like the supplements that would be on this, because I want to understand more why people love it so much. If you love it, like, please, like, tell me why. Like, I think it's a great film, and I found it really interesting, but it's just kind of surprising how much I hear it come up, especially when people talk about films that they want to see on Criterion. And Lost in Translation is about, I don't remember the characters' names, but Scarlett Johansson, she lives in Tokyo, at least Japan. I'm assuming Tokyo. And she is dating this guy who's successful and like never around or something. And then she ventures out on her own into the city and ends up meeting Bill Murray's character, and they strike up a friendship and can relate to each other a lot. I like it because it seems more like a friendship and not like it's going to be something more. I can't remember if they actually end up sleeping together or not. If they do, I still have that impression like they just like want to be with someone and there is a connection there, and it's not like lustful, I guess. I don't know. I also wrote down Marie Antoinette because I like that film. I don't think that it's very well loved, but it has its fans. And I think because of the aesthetic, I like Marie Antoinette more than Lost in Translation, but that could also just be me saying that because I didn't quite understand all the hype around Lost in Translation. So that's it. That's what I'm going to stick with for this video. I could probably do another video. The thing is, or like a follow-up video with more to add to this list. But the thing is, Criterion introduces me to a lot of films, And so I'm not going to have anything that's like super obscure or that people like haven't already thought of. Tell me what you think of these. I'm pretty sure I said like just about everything. I've been thinking about this video all day and I've like finally had a chance to film. So, also I would like to say if you're a recent subscriber, thank you for subscribing. Hello, I'm Bailey. And tell me what your favorite film is. Yeah, do that. And tell me also what you think about these films that I've listed here. So, that being said, again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.